Back from the dead.
Oh, still got that cold, huh?
Yeah, a little bit, but I've missed what? Close to the last 3 weeks worth. When's the actual test?
You got to schedule it. I'll send out some directions next week. You got to go join ISM and then get a ticket, and then you go schedule it with this test taking service that does a lot of grad school tests and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you should go take it because you'll pass. I mean, it's all you got to get's like 55%.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we got 2 more sections here, so we might as well knock these out. We got one on. I'm out here tomorrow, so we'll do the last one on Monday. But social responsibility is what we're doing today. So establish and monitor social responsibility programs, including corporate citizenship and community outreach. So social responsibility can include these kinds of things. It's also called corporate social responsibility. This is kind of how ISM will define it with their little pamphlet here. Principles of sustainability and corporate responsibility. But so ethics and environmentalism and financial integrity, transparency, all that good stuff. You know, all the kind of stuff that your mom said you should do. Building a sustainability and social responsibility business case. So ISM is, their claim to fame is this diversity, and they've got social responsibility business case or how to step-by-step, a few pages long. In case you ever need to do it, here it is. And then part of social responsibility is human rights. And they have come up with a template to provide an organization opportunity to map out these supplier principles. And it's essentially just a spreadsheet where you put in the supplier and then you give them the risk factors, and it's a yes or no kind of thing. And then you got a span risk chart, and you got a map on where you're at and some directions. And then they've got a policy template, also from ISM. How to do human rights policies for supply management. And then they've got some examples here from some companies. You notice the oil companies are in on this, probably because they operate in parts of the world where human rights are a real problem. Supplier certifications. One, you need two. One to confirm the diverse status of the supplier, and the other would be a normal supplier certification that they're actually capable of providing us parts. The quality does. So the diverse supplier certification confirms that the supplier meets some criteria for the economically disadvantaged class. So the first step, if you want to do a supplier diversity program, is to define what qualifies as a diverse supplier. So there's all kinds of disadvantaged classes out there, depending on who you talk to. And you got to figure out what ones you want to use. So many government entities have come up with working definitions of diverse suppliers, and you can steal from one of theirs. There's also a certification, U.S. federal contractor based, sam.gov. If you want to work with the federal government, you got to do that. And there's a consultant company that will work the sam.gov's website for you and get you registered. And your little deal would look like that. If you're a government contractor, this is the kind of thing you want. And then there's government certifying organizations that will certify diverse businesses. So the Small Business Administration, works with the veterans and women-owned businesses. They have a couple of programs that will certify those. They got to be small businesses though. Hub zone veterans programs, etc. And then the ASBA will tell, based on the industry, whether it qualifies as a small business. Yep. And there's also the Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization, part of HHS, which will certify businesses as diverse businesses, but they're small businesses again. Once the organization has defined a diverse supplier, the next action is to decide the steps necessary for meeting the diverse supplier criteria. So self-certify, some organizations will allow suppliers to self-certify, usually not a good idea. Many organizations include their diverse suppliers in their general supply certifications. Tells the buyer if the supplier has the general capacity to meet the needs. So you need both certifications. You need to know if they have the general capacity, and you need to know if they meet diverse supplier certifications. And it can be given at the organizational level or part level, or both. If suppliers are certified part by part, then the organization is aware of the capabilities of the supplier. But if you got millions of parts like we do, that would be quite an effort. Small business size, if it's consistent with government standards, those are federal acquisition regulations. So the small qualification for a small business, and the SBA uses these. Manufacturing business, it's 500 employees or less. For transportation, agriculture, construction, it's based on revenue. So 500,000 to 100 million. Average annual revenue is a small business. It's interesting that it goes all the way up to 100 million, but okay. A small disadvantaged business qualifies as a small business. It's at least 51% owned or controlled by an economically disadvantaged group, and the owner's net worth cannot be more than 750,000. 30% equity ownership, but 51% voting stock. So these are some of the government standards. Organization's reputational risk tolerance. So step 5, identify an organization's risk tolerance, talk with your stakeholders, and identify the factors that drive the relationship between the stakeholders and the organization, and then identify a point at which the organization's reputation can be considered damaged. And material assessment, identify stakeholders, major sustainability and social responsibility indicators, align the indicators, conduct a survey, then a ranking matrix. So you want to do like influence the stakeholders have over one indicator on the X maybe, and significance of the sustainability indicator on the Y. Then you want to establish some metrics, and you start by setting up some SMART goals. Typical SMART: specific, measurable, attainable, results-oriented, time-bound. And then supply management professionals must recognize the difference in strategic and operational goals, and amount of employee input, level of goal difficulty, typical kind of thing that we deal with around here. And to be effective, obviously the goals have got to be measurable, and they got to be aligned within the business. Comprehensive, dynamic, transparent, tied to incentive compensation, if you really want to make them work. Backed with resources and championed by strong leadership. So multi-tier supplier goals, often driven by various laws and regulations, especially if you're working for the government. Final customers may also want reporting on the use of diverse suppliers. So they may want to tier 1 only, but they may also want tier 2 or tier 3. So creation of measurements, the supply management professional has to create, report, archive, evaluate, and revise the organizational metrics that will achieve the corporate objectives. And management needs to put in place a system that ensures the processes are controlled and in compliance. This is basically a SOX requirement. Oh, hi. So monitoring performance, you got audits. You can have peer audits. You also have audits by internal audit groups and outside groups. Used to identify strengths and weaknesses, and can be conducted by outside groups such as the quality groups. And the validation process applies that a solution or process is correct or compliant with a set of rules. Once it's validated, it means it's compliant. And reporting requirements, got to establish management reporting system, track for compliance and accuracy. And remediation is if a deficiency is found, then a process improvement plan should be established. That's called remediation. And then you also have training on policies and procedures and continuous improvement. Diverse supplier programs need visible metrics and actual to goal. So you need to know if you're making progress. Their stakeholders will certainly want to know that. So determine what categories and levels of diverse supplier participation in the organization is attained. And then for accountability, look internally at how well the organization identifies and uses diverse suppliers, and externally to gauge how well existing diverse suppliers are performing in comparison to non-diverse. So this is a key item that stakeholders usually want to know. And then we've shown this a couple of times. It's just a generic tool for prioritizing and identifying gaps in anything. So establish the business priorities, evaluate the organization on each principle, evaluate the significance of your gap areas, evaluate the business area the gap affects, and prioritize your identified gaps. And then you've got outreach. So if you're going to try and find diverse suppliers, you're going to have to do outreach. Organizations can use swag, provide visibility, so initiate a recognition program, attend to the organization's website, be easy to target an audience, navigate, have clear, easy to read content for diverse suppliers. You can get them to sign up that way. Plan effective outreach business trips. And newsletters, this is a little bit older. People don't really do newsletters. They may do a blog. Participate in business opportunity fairs or trade shows. Usually the government will have a lot of diverse supplier trade shows. Have a supplier diversity budget. Where we put the money is where our priorities are. Foster employee awareness through internal training, establish accountability, usually tying it to like commodity managers' goals, and performance assessment to diverse supplier achievement goals. So philanthropy, corporate social responsibility program can be considered philanthropic when funds, products, or services are donated to other organizations. Usually our philanthropy goes through the Piggott Foundation. Community engagement can include the following: jerseys, volunteering in the community programs such as cooking classes, etc. And then communication. So choose CSR that fits with the organization's strategy. Emphasize the long-term commitment of the organization, seek credibility through support of independent communication sources, encourage employee communication in the initiatives through the social networks, and look for initiatives that have support from stakeholders. And here's an article that McKinsey wrote on environmental, social, and governance, and why you want to do it. It's 4 or 5, maybe half a dozen pages. Creates how it creates value for the corporation. All right. So, as typically defined, social responsibility includes all of the following areas except which one doesn't belong. Social responsibility. Well, A and B are certainly part of social responsibility. The question is, which one do you like better, C or D?
Yeah, D.
Yeah, I would go with that too, probably. Let's see what these guys have to say. C it is. Part of ethical standards rather than social responsibility. All right, one more here. What is the main reason for creating diversity supplier metrics? Take a stab at it.
D.
Yeah, that's what I would go with. Better be the answer. B it is. So I could put the apostrophe in here. Okay, there are 6 questions out on the chat. So go ahead and start working them and just raise your hand when you get done.
I think I'm done.
All right. So number 1 is Charlie. Yeah, 51% is the magic number. 2 is alpha,
Mm.
150. 3 is also alpha. You would want to see the balance sheet. Oh, yeah, because the company's going to be a small company, if more than likely. 4 is Bravo, working with
Why would
commodity
you?
source.
Sorry, that seems odd.
4 or 3?
3, because it's like,
Yeah, so normally we'd want to know, is the company going to go under? But these guys
yeah,
whole deal is, if you're looking for diverse suppliers, don't look at their financials because they're all terrible.
oh,
It's
interesting. Okay,
like, oh,
all right.
okay.
Okay, 4th B, got it.
Yeah. 5 is Charlie.
Okay.
And 6 is also Charlie. Community is not part of it. Or no, not community, but health. Is that it? Yeah, health. Community ethics and safety are. All right.
All right.
Got one more thing on Monday and then we're through this. Of course, we got some questions we can do next week, but I'll send out the how to get signed up here like Monday or Tuesday.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. See you.